Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McElmore.
Well, hello, and welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Sheilia Burrage, agent from the World Financial Group. Tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit about preparing for retirement. Welcome, Sheilia. How are you?
Good evening. I'm doing fabulous.
Well, good. I'm glad that we finally got a chance to get through this. We've been struggling a little bit this evening to get this started, but we're rocking and rolling. So can you just take a few minutes and tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, I presently am a customer service representative for AT&T. And so I live and deal in the world of technology, and I have for over 30 years.
Okay.
And, I've been married, and I have 3 sons, and they're grown and gone, 3 grandchildren, and it's time for me, and I have already made that step for me to embark on another career, even though I've been in one career for 30 years, but I still got some tricks left, and I'm going to utilize them.
All right, but there's also one other thing that we have in common with each other that I think is really exciting. And what might that be? Can you think about it? Where are we from? As far as
what you and I have in common?
What we both have in common. We're from Davenport, Iowa.
Yes.
You are from my hometown, so I'm really excited that I have the opportunity to interview tonight someone from my hometown. So I'm excited about it.
And it's a pleasure. And thank you for that.
You're welcome. I know you're sitting like, okay, wait a minute. What is it that we have in common?
Well, we do have one thing in common. Joe McLemore, your dad.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
So, yep. Yeah, so we have a lot of background that most people don't know about. And then also the other thing I thought was I wanted to bring up, I really love to talk about is the fact, too, that you used to be a former 5th Ward alderman for Holmes. So you're very familiar and involved with the community as well. You were involved with a lot of politics. You know President Obama and Mrs. Obama. So you've really been out there and active for many, many years. But now, like you said, you're talking about going into a different direction. And talk to me a little bit about the World Financial Group.
The World Financial Group, their motto is to help middle-class families build wealth. Mm-hmm. There is a technique, there is a science to build wealth. And once you grasp it, and it starts out doing very small things in order to do big things and greater things. And so they are a company that is affiliated with Transamerica. They are a company that was embraced by Transamerica because what they've done, they've just taken common people like myself and trained them and taught them the concept and create a different mindset for yourself. Mm-hmm. So you want to share this information with others. So sitting down with families, sitting down with single people, young people, husband and wives, helping them understand their budgets, pretty much all walks of life. It's pretty much no different for me when I sold and have sold cellular phones. Mm-hmm. Anyone who has a need, and definitely the need for understanding how money works, to me, because I'm a baby boomer, mm-hmm. and to me, it's important that I've already been through it, and I want to help people take some shortcuts and not follow the path that I did, because the information is out there to be shared with you, for you to embrace and utilize and take yourself to a whole nother level mm-hmm. during your work and earning power.
Okay. So what made you, inspired you to decide to go this direction? Like you said, you've, spent 30 years in a different industry and you retire from that industry and now you're embarking on something new. But what really, kind of brought this to the forefront that you say, hey, I want to do this and I want to teach others how to do this?
Because of all the things that have happened to me, and it's still happening to other people. Jobs, jobs, if you're not a business owner, own your own business. Jobs have a tendency to fleet away.
Right.
So you're constantly starting over. Sometimes you're losing everything that you built, depending if you're able to get and land another job. And a lot of times when you land another job, you'll find yourself making less money. So perpetual wheel going round and round. And even though it happened to me, my coming from the 80s and the first recession and the experience of that with me and my family, and it's just, for me, and like I said, I like to see people do well. I like to help people understand how money works. I just know you just live a lot more comfortable when you've got things in place.
Right.
And it's just in me that I want to tell the world my story so that will help them understand how close they are to maybe experiencing. And I talk to people every day, all walks of life, and I hear this. It's still happening. And we need to let people know they've got to take control of their finances.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think in our society today, things are moving so fast. And then on top of that, like I said, people just aren't prepared. And a lot of times it's the attitude of what it used to be. Well, it was so much easier, probably 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, to just get up and go get a job. Times have definitely changed with that. And like I said, there's no guarantee of anything, even though I'm out here in the Washington, D.C. metro area, everybody thinks because the government is around here or we have contractor jobs or government civilian jobs that everybody thinks everything's a guarantee. There is no such thing as a guarantee. As we talk about daily, there's, we're hearing more and more about government shutdowns. There's always issues going on. So you never know what's going to happen. So what used to be considered a guarantee, you don't know if you have that. Now, of course, if you're working in the government, they have a whole different package that helps you prepare for your future, where it's a little bit different out here in the real world. Depending on what type of company you're associated with, you may not have those type of good benefits that you used to have, or you can even afford to even save with those benefits. And there are a lot of companies who don't even utilize 401k programs anymore. So there's so many different options, but like I said, it's a little overwhelming. And then with people trying to live their day-to-day lives, they don't always think about retirement. It's almost getting to the point where retirement is a word that we don't even use anymore because nobody can really foresee that down the road, is really wanting to retire and really being prepared for it because of all the different things that we got going on in society today. So how do you, I guess, one of my questions, how do you convince those who come to your office or you talk to them outside of the office? What is it that you tell them to make them understand how important it is to be prepared for your future?
Well, my story speaks for itself. I'm 70 years old. Most of my family members who were fortunate to have jobs that gave them the 30 or an out, or, enough time where they were able to retire by the years of service, their age, and whatever the case may be. Like I said, I got interrupted so much, during my career and careers I had before, because, a plant closing, Case IH, a company I used to work for, a perfect example, 2,500 employees. And one day they shut the doors and tore it down, and they're building a hotel on it. So, I talk to young people, especially. I work for a company that has 401k, and they match us at 6%. And when the new hires come in, I always make sure I meet them and I talk to them about the importance of putting money away before tax.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they get it misconstrued that I can't afford to save money, and I show them how they can't afford not to. Because if you allow them to tax all of your gross, that's money that is just being taken from you. But if you save 6%, 10%, or 15%, they're only going to tax what's left, which will be lower than what you would have had taken out of your check and just sent to the government.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had 401k since '88. And, I've been fortunate that every employer I've had in this particular industry has always had a 401k.
Mm-hmm.
So my I story is way more convincing than me talking about somebody else.
Right.
And they're done that. But now let me show you how you can make your life easier by you grasping and understanding how money works. So really, it's my I story that's more convincing than anything.
Right. And that's the truth. And that's pretty much with anything, that when people can share their stories, and that's part of the reason why I love doing this podcast program, is because, whether you're in business for yourself or whether you're working for someone or whatever the case may be, it's very important that people understand that there are resources out there, but there's always somebody out there who's going through what you're going through or has been through, and being able to have this opportunity to share the resource and understand what the World Financial Group is about and what they offer, and for people's futures. I think this is an important platform to utilize it on. But when people usually hear the stories, that's usually when they wake up and say, hey, I need to do this. And, and it's unfortunate that we all have to have some type of negativity to, going on within our lives to understand what that importance is, because we're so used to thinking that everything is going to be there forever. Well, as we can see today, that's definitely something that you can't prepare for. You cannot say forever anymore. And especially I think with a lot of people in their jobs, they're actually, most of them aren't even staying 18 months at a time, if that, and they're rotating into new positions, and not because they're not good employees. It's because usually the companies can't afford either to keep them, or either they're trying to find another position that's going to be more beneficial for them. As you were saying earlier, that a lot of these organizations or businesses, if you're going to apply for another job, you're not always getting paid the same. So like you said,
right,
you're starting over again. But I guess, explain to me that, you talked about some of the challenges that you had faced previously, with, going through your circumstances and, having good jobs and then having to, kind of start over. And now you're, as I always say, your second chapter of life, and you're trying to, you're re-advancing and helping yourself, but also helping other people. Talk to me about some of the success stories that you have had working with other individuals with this program that you work for, this company, World Financial Group.
Well, right now, my situation is that I'm still working. I'm still full-time employed. So my working with people is on a part-time basis. So I don't have any pressures to having to produce like I do at work all day, at work out quota. Being with World Financial Group, I'm an independent contractor.
Okay.
And so what I'm able to do is to, get people, to come to meetings. We host, got a, nice office here. There's a group. So we're a team here.
Okay.
And, we have, an office space that, on Thursday nights, I'm able to invite my coworkers or family members, or, since I've been in sales, I talk to everybody. So, it's easy for me to strike up a conversation,
right,
at a group or a gathering, and, invite them out to, just sit and, listen to the, top performers. Because that's what they are. They're my colleagues. We work side by side, but they're doing it full time. And so for me, it's just a success to convince someone, let me pick you up, let me get you there, let them see how the program works, and then we follow up with an appointment at their home or office in order to see how we can help them create their own plan, their own savings, their plan to help learn how to build wealth, because that's all it is. You can build wealth, but knowing how to do it is information that we share with people.
Exactly. And that's definitely the most important part. But, you're actually, really have your own business per se, you're just doing, like I said, on a part-time basis. And so what was the training process that you had to go through in order to, become an actual agent and independent contractor? What did they put you through the World Financial Group? How did that work for you?
Well, training is every Thursday night, basically.
Okay.
Hearing the plan, hearing how it works, watching others, watching as others, hit their goals of quotas for themselves, because everybody has a plan of, what they want to do per week, how many people they want to see a week, how many people they want to also bring in as a team member, because we do recruit people to do what we do. And so you've got that. And then we've got trainings in Chicago and Rolling Meadows. Every Saturday we've got training in Rockford, Illinois. We have a astounding leader. He just so happens to be my colleague from my days with GTE when I lived in Rockford. And it's kind of funny, not funny, but this is how journeys that we all have, that we can and may cross paths one day. So I recruited Robert King from Pioneer Life Insurance to come work with me side by side as an outside or commercial sales rep, business to business. And that was a piece. Then, of course, we all went our separate ways in 1999 in different ways, different routes in our lives. And he went into banking and finance. And about 2 years ago, I got a call from Robert. Sheila, I'm going to come down on your lunch hour. He drove from Rockford just to sit with me less than an hour to tell me about World Financial Group. And then he got back with me, and, I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm so busy now, as usual. I don't know if I can do this, because I wasn't quite ready.
Right.
But I knew what he was talking about. I knew in the back of my mind, I knew that would probably be the next thing I would do if I was going to do anything. And so he came back and called me one day and said, Sheila, I've opened up an office in Davenport, and I need you to be part of the team. And so what I'm going to do right now, I've got the paperwork, and I just need you to give me your information, and I need you to just sign up.
Well, tell him thank you very much, right? Did it all for you.
But he's a salesperson, right?
Right.
But he's very successful, and he gets you excited when you're around him, and he just is able to show people how easy it is to do once you open up and grasp and accept. And I was like, Robert, when I met him, I need you to bring your resume to me up there on East State Street, put my name on as a reference, let me hand it in, let me get you a job. So he came back and got me, and he said, I always felt that one day he was going to be able to do something and come back and get me. He said he always felt he owed me the favor.
Wow.
So, so your training is staying on top of your products. There's you to read online. There's plenty of books for you to read. But, for the most part, it's information, and all you have to do is be willing to open up and learn it. Just learn the process.
Now, is there any type of investment that you have to make in order to be, as an independent contractor? And it sounds like, like I said, you guys have your teams and you're building them and so forth. But, is there a beginning investment personally that you have to provide?
Just one $100 bill.
Can't beat that.
Then you study in the state of Iowa, life, health insurance exam.
Okay.
And that's still nothing expensive. And you go to Cedar Rapids and you take the test. And once you pass, then, you know, you are on your way to now, you know, being able to, you know, place your people and, bring in your customers and your clients or more clients. And, you know, that is how, you know, your commissions are then in place because you are a full-fledged licensed, agent, insurance agent, because basically that's what it is, insurance.
Okay. Exactly. Okay. And that's important to know. And that's what I was trying to understand, that, you know, how did this process work in, you know, especially with you being an independent contractor, you know, like I said, you're essentially running your own business, and there is definitely a process that comes with that. And I think that's important for people to understand, that if they decide that, hey, you know, I want to do this and I want to be a part of this business, I want to understand the concept, these are the steps you have to take. And then, of course, if they're not interested in doing that, this is the other piece of it. This is where we can teach you how to get your financial self in order. So those are some of the things that I was looking for as we're having this conversation. And I think that's important, because a big part of what I like for women to share is that the process of what it means of being in business. And if you had one thing that you wanted to share with another woman, what would you talk to them about what it takes to become a business owner?
It takes wanting more than, it's a standard of life that you want to attain. You know, I don't dream about anything. I look at something and then I research what it will take to get there, and I just do it. I tell people, don't dream about it, be about it. Action speaks louder than words. And the thing about it is, for women, we have to, and I'm going to say it 1,000 times, have to be in control of your finances. You have to, because, you know, if I'm on the phone with widows and widowers, and the widows, they're in bad shape, you know, especially out of my era, because, you know, women came in the workplace and they really didn't start really making any real money. And, you know, we're still making less money than our male counterparts. But the thing about it is, a lot of times they were housewives. A lot of times they worked part-time jobs, or a lot of times due to their husband's passing earlier in life than they expected, you know, they were forced to go out in the workplace, or even just the standard living that we want to attain. A lot of women, I watched my neighbors, when I moved into my neighborhood, Pleasant Valley, I was like the only working woman in the neighborhood.
Wow.
And I'm back in the driveway. I had to pay for that house. It wasn't free.
Right.
You know, they were able to stay home with their kids and get their kids off to school. But oh boy, in the 80s came along, and the next thing I knew, they were backing out of the driveway just as quick as I was. I had to go to work because it started costing more and more money, and the husbands were no longer able just to be the only sole provider. But again, this is when I say it. I want women to be financially stable. I want them to understand how to put money somewhere other than in a purse. You know what I mean? A lot of things and stuff, because when you need cash money, it's mighty hard to get that investment back out of that $300 purse. I'd rather have a $29 purse with $300 in it.
Right. There you
If
go.
anything happens, the car can break down, you need a tire change, you need to buy a tire. You got to be able to flip out that card and be able to pay for it.
That's right.
You know, you don't be in a situation where you're living check to check. There's reasons for it. And 9 times out of 10, when we all sit down and take a look and show people how to make their money work for them, how to live on a budget, how to have 6 months to a year's worth of savings, if you don't touch it, it's going to be there for you, because emergencies, believe me, always happen.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. That was awesome. So let me ask you, how can the listeners get a hold of you?
Well, they may reach me at Sheilia, and that's Sheilia dot Burrage, Burrage, at yahoo.com.
All right.
It's
Well,
by email because at work I'm on the phone and you get the voicemail, so it's better to communicate me, or they can reach me on Facebook.
okay.
And it's Sheilia Burrage on Facebook. So I'm accessible to whomever would like to talk to me, and I can invite to a meeting on a Thursday night and they take a look at it, because the other thing is building your own business is creating and growing not only your client base, but also your team. And so, Robert, I just have so much fun, when I go into the city or go into Chicago, he and his wife, they're a team. He's recruited some other couples, and when they're just walking across the stage and they're winning everything. And they just came out of Nashville last week, and I saw them on Facebook, and there they are. They got all kinds of trophies and all kinds of plaques and all that recognition. And you would be surprised. A lot of people don't realize that inside of them is a seed of greatness. And a lot of times we lose our way by doing something that seemed easier to do, but it's boring, and you're only doing it because you're a little bit afraid to step out of that comfort zone.
Right.
But once you get a chance to see the fruits of your labor, and once your peers got you walking across the stage and clapping, walking up to you, congratulating you, there's a lot of confidence that starts building in you. And so I've been in sales for 30 years or more, and allowed me to afford to live and do so many things and meet so many people. And like you said, I met President Obama and First Lady Michelle because I ran for office because somebody suggested that I do. And that lady was Shirley McLemore. You know her?
I think I do know her. She sounds really familiar.
She and Dr. Ida Johnson put me up to it. And say, oh, you need to run for office. You need to run in your ward. There's an open spot. And then we're sitting there at a birthday gathering for President Obama when he turned 50. All the offices, Democratic offices, all got together, and we were sitting there eating. And so I got put up to it by Shirley McLemore because, she and I went to school together. So anyway, I march downtown and get my little paperwork and fill it out and get, my signatures and petitions. And but anyway, I was really fortunate. I did win, did run, I did win, and I had a lot of sales and marketing behind me. So I knew kind of how to move around to get my face out there, my name out there. And so when I met President Obama, I told him, I said, I ran to celebrate your 50th birthday, and I ran because you inspired me so much. And he said, really? He said, you ran and won. I said, I ran and won to celebrate your 50th birthday. That was the day that I decided I would run. And so he laughed, and he thought that was pretty funny. But that's just it. If something comes in my mind and I have the resources to do it, I just do it. And I love, with Robert, and there was, back when GTE, there were 7 of us, and we were bad. We were some bad mamma jammas out there on that street selling phones. And the thing about it is, here's what happened to those 7 people. Today, all of those 7 people are very successful today. And it's funny, some of them they stayed in telecommunications. In fact, I met one, she was a manager for Cricket, and I was in Houston, and I ran across her because I worked for Cricket, and there she was, a sales manager. And the last time I saw her, she was a sales rep, So I said, when you get a chance to tap into that seed of greatness, you'd be surprised what you can do.
That's right. And all of us have it. And that's the key. Like I always tell you, we all have a hidden passion. It's just finding it right. That's right. Yep. And utilizing it. A lot of people get scared because fear of the unknown is always going to be there. But you start to lose out when you look up, a year goes by, 4 or 5 more years go by, and you keep saying, oh, I'm going to do this, and realize that you're never going to do it. So you don't want to be one of those individuals, but like you said, it's if you have that passion and that spirit, and this is what you want to do, just get up and do it. You know, if you got the resources, go for it.
Yeah, it is, because there's a lot, information it's free. I mean,
right.
There's so many things you can learn how to do just on the internet, so you can self-educated. You can sit in your living room and just start reading, and you'll find out, hey, you know what? I understand this. I like this. I can do this. But, I love being around people who are positive. I love to see people win. I have a good time. They just don't understand. It's just that, like I said, my eye story alone is enough to keep me going. And when I can get other people to buy into, I see you doing that, or I think you can do that, instead of saying, because I had people trying to talk me out of selling cellular phones. Would you believe it? And if I would have listened to them.
Right. You would have never known. And look, now cellular phones, we can't live without them, right?
But they're building those towers for a reason. You see them towers? Somebody's going to buy something, and this company said they want to hire me, and I'm going with the company. I'm going to see what happens. And here I am, 30 years later, I am still selling phones.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. But like you said, now you're on your second chapter of your life, and you're doing other big things, and I think that's important. And
you can do it anywhere in the United States.
Oh, well, that's even better.
As a licensed agent, all you have to do is get another license from different states, and sometimes your Iowa license works in Texas,
right?
With a bit of something that you need to do. So, I can start in Iowa, and I can leave and go to California and do it, and go to Texas and do it. So you're not just bogged down to just where you live and work. You actually can have aspirations to say, well, how am I going to ever leave the Quad Cities? Well, instead of me trying to hope somebody will hire me, you just take your business somewhere else and build another team and another.
Exactly. All right. Well, on that note, that's some excellent information, and I do really want to thank you for coming on tonight and sharing your story. And do you have any last words for the listeners?
The sky is the limit. Don't dream, just do it.
Amen. All righty then. Again, like I said, thank you for coming on my show tonight and sharing your story. For everyone else, you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.